Good day everyone and welcome to the presentation on an overview to web development. Today we will look into modern web development technologies, frameworks and best practices. From this presentation we hope that you will gain valuable insights to improve your skills. So without further ado, let's get started.
So, what exactly is web development? Web development is creating, building, and maintaining websites. It involves a combination of web design, web programming, and database management. In modern times, building a web application is quite simple, but tech stacks have been much more complicated as there are various technologies that we can use to develop a web app. Now you might be asking, what's a tech stack? Think of a tech stack as a toolkit for creating your application. It has programming languages, frameworks, database, front-end and back-end tools, and APIs. It's like having a versatile set of tools to build your application. To simplify, we can break it down to three key components: front-end layer, API layer, back-end layer. Front-end layer or front-end technologies such as React and Flutter handles the user interface and how your apps look and feels. Backend technologies like Node.js and Java powers the core functionalities of your application. API layer serves as a bridge that connects the front-end layer and the backend. You can choose the technologies like REST or GraphQL for seamless communication. We will talk about more individually later. In today's landscape of web development, there are various tech stacks available. You have probably heard of Merl, Me, Maven. And there are also such tech stacks like Refy and Fluff, which is basically React Firebase, and Flutter and Firebase. However, selecting the right tech stack is critical for your project. You need to choose your tech stack for the project wisely because it is a very tough task to change it in the middle of a project. Now, that's it for the introduction. So let's get started on the front-end technologies. Now let's look at front-end technologies and frameworks. Before we move on, let's first look at what front-end development is. Front-end development is simply the process of creating the look and feel of your application. To get started in the front-end development, you need to be familiar with three main languages. Those are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. First, let's talk about HTML. Think of HTML as the skeleton of your application. It's all about structuring your content, defining headings, paragraphs, links, and others. Moving on to the CSS, CSS is like the fashion design of your skeleton. It gives style to your content and making it more visually appealing to the users. JavaScript adds the interactivity to your skeleton. It enables dynamic features like form validation, animation, and real-time updates. Also, in your project, instead of using vanilla JavaScript, consider using TypeScript. TypeScript adds a type system on top of the JavaScript. So that type system can use to catch errors early in the development process. So this can help your code to be more robust and maintainable. So it is quite possible to build a website using just these three languages, but it is quite challenging. So that's where UI frameworks comes into play. UI framework and libraries are toolkits that streamline front-end development. I have listed down some famous frameworks. So let's go them one by one. For web front-end development, you can use React, Angular, or Vue. So there are many others as well. So I just use these three. So all of these frameworks and libraries are based on JavaScript, and out of these three, React is currently the most popular choice due to its flexibility and strong community support. I will also give some examples for mobile front-end development as well, as some of your projects may have a mobile application. For mobile front-end development, you can use a framework like Flutter or React Native. Talking about Flutter is an interesting choice. Flutter is based on Dart and maintained by Google. So the main advantage of Flutter is from single code base, you can create applications for various platforms. For example, you can create applications for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, web from a single code base. So that is a very good advantage of Flutter. React Native is another popular approach. So React Native is famous because most of the web developers can easily grasp this framework due to its compatibility with JavaScript and React concepts. Also, you can use native development as well. For native development for Android, you can use Kotlin, and for iOS, you can use Swift. Other than front-end frameworks, also consider UI components libraries in your project as well. So these pre-built component libraries can help you save valuable time in the development process. So I have listed down two most popularly used component libraries. So this one is Material UI and this one is Semantic UI. So Material UI is based on Google's Material Design System, and Semantic UI is another famous component library. So they are mainly focusing on the simplicity and user friendliness. So now we covered basic stuff that we need to know about front-end development. Before we finish on this front-end development part, let's talk about one other important topic, that is responsiveness. Currently in the society, most of us have a smartphone or a tablet. Hence, most of users browse the web using these devices. So it is very crucial to ensure your website looks great on all screen sizes. So how can you achieve this? You can achieve this by using UI component libraries responsive features, or you can directly implement CSS techniques. By now, I hope you have a basic understanding of front-end technologies and frameworks. Now, let's talk about back-end technologies that you can leverage in your project.